Welcome to Talk Utah, everybody. Trip Mitchell, Holly Love, we are here, and it has been such crazy weather. Trip Mitchell, what's happening? What's going on?
Well, it's called winter, and sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's cold, and
Not always, sometimes it's warm. Honestly, I have to say, I have absolutely loved the weather this winter. I think it's been like as a present to me personally, and I feel kind of guilty saying that because Utah has been so lovely, and I've missed LA, but I do feel bad for the skiers.
We didn't have much of an inversion this year,
Yep.
and it's kind of perfect weather for people who live in the valley if the clouds go over, maybe rain a little bit, but
been
don't
so
start getting
easy.
cold till around 6,000 feet. The mountains get snow, the valley gets rain.
Sort of snow. The skiers have suffered because your brother, we actually got to meet other Mitchells, everybody. Other Mitchells do exist.
There are lots of them.
I know. So I've met your sister, and now I've met your brother Richard, and your lovely nephew. What was his name? I forget.
Eli.
Eli.
She was, Holly was reading reviews of her show while Eli was here, and she was looking at the trade papers, so she didn't get a chance to talk to him. But
Holly, are you me?
yes, oh yeah.
I talked to Eli. What are you talking about? He's adorable. Here is the funnest thing about your family is that honestly, you are so like, you say the craziest things. You're like straight up Larry David all the time, and everybody knows this. And your family actually knows this, which was fantastic. So it's not like a family thing. You weren't just like raised crazy. It's just.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think hypothetically,
you're crazy Uncle Trip?
if in fact I was just crazy with you, do you think I just walk out? The only segment in life that I'm nuts is with you, and that I walk outside and I'm normal with other people?
I just kind of thought maybe the rest of your family like used words like wicky-wacky, wacky, and like. This is my new favorite one you've been using lately. I was going to ask you about.
What's that?
Out of pocket. Anyone?
Out of pocket means you're not available.
No, so I've asked everyone. I've asked my mom. I've asked like Aaliyah. I've asked interns. I've asked everyone I can think of to just try to get a good generational like. Does anyone?
You've never heard
say
that expression? I'll be out of pocket for a while.
Never referring to like you as a person being out of pocket. I've heard of like out of pocket expenses.
Well, certainly, but it's an expression for.
Who says this expression? Where did it come from?
A lot of captains of TV. If you read in the trade papers, all the heads of networks are being fired.
I don't even know what trade papers are.
You know what trade. Holly, you read Variety when you were in LA.
Okay, keep going. Anyway.
So all captains of industry use the expression out of pocket.
Captains of industry.
Now I might be Gilligan of industry. Okay.
No one has ever used that phrase ever before, ever.
Okay, I had a problem on Monday. This is not come as a shock to you.
Okay.
I was there's a Greek restaurant up the street where the guy who owns it is not a nice guy.
Wait, I love that guy.
No. Well, we're not getting into this.
Are we talking about the same? We're talking about the one that I love him, right?
No. This guy's a bad guy at another one.
Oh,
okay. So he's mean, but the food is great, and everyone there is really nice. But he's not a great guy.
Okay.
So I'm in there, and I order my meal.
Okay.
He gives me a number, and I go sit down. They call my number. I walk up to the counter, and there's included in my meal are French fries. So I see a big thing of French fries there. Mm-hmm. So I start clomming them down at the counter, which is rude.
Naturally?
Yeah, naturally, but I'm Larry David. So I'm eating these French fries, having a great time, and I go get some sauce, and I'm eating them. I'm a little perturbed that they called my number because my order wasn't ready, but I'm eating these fries, and then all of a sudden they bring my lunch out, and it's got the fries. So at this point I'm going, what the heck? Because I know if I tell the guy I've been eating these fries, which I have, and putting fries back and, making a mess of things. If I tell the guy that I've been eating the fries, he'll charge me for them. And you know me, I hate confrontation. So
or spending money.
Okay, that could be another factor too. Mm-hmm. So what should I do? Well, I just left the fries. So some poor schmuck came up and got the fries that I'd been eating with fry sauce and everything.
Trip Mitchell, that's horrible.
But I've never eaten fries off a room service tray.
That is actually like that's nice to you. You ate some poor person's fries.
That was such a dilemma.
Like,
so I get my meal.
Dirty, half-eaten.
I know, but the guy.
You don't feel bad about that?
I do, but I made the call. I go, this guy, this poor mean guy who owns a Greek restaurant is going to charge me like another $2 for the fries. I know he's going to do it, and I'm going to bitch, and we're going to get in an argument. And it's going to ruin my lunch. So I just left and went and ate at the. Did I do wrong?
You did. That wasn't very cool. But moral of the story is, I think we've totally proven now that you're a little off, but you've got really cool family. So I feel better about life. Somehow that makes me feel better. I don't know why, because I guess I just thought, maybe all the Mitchells are, kind of just a little bit eccentric and
No,
and
no,
wild
there are.
and crazy, and your brother's like the coolest guy I've met. He's
But
super nice.
hypothetically, how many men who are normal would want to sit on a dais like this and do a show with you every day?
I would think men are lining up outside as we speak.
Well, we turned the door beeper off, so I haven't heard them all lining up out there.
I'm
but I'll
pretty
go
sure
meet
they
them.
would.
I'll go meet them right now.
All right, well, anyway, moral is it's lovely weather. Utah is awesome. This time of year, it's only going to get better. Your brother's been in town. Yay May is coming up. I'm going to be getting in shape. It's just a good time to be alive.
Certainly for her. Me, not so much. We'll be back after the short break. The lovely Holly Love and I'm Trip Mitchell. Thanks for watching. We're coming up with News You Can News.
What is
News
it?
You Can News? Or
Not
use?
snooze. Use you can
Use.
you can snooze? Oh, wow. Let's
News
just let
you
him,
can
let,
use
let him
right
go.
after this.
She had a lot of trouble in school.
He had some impulsivity issues.
He was having a lot of meltdowns, a lot of tantrums.
I feel like all I did was yell at my kid all day.
Brain Balance is the answer for your kid because it didn't just mask the problems, it actually addressed the issue.
We started seeing huge differences in her behavior.
It's a totally different life.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for a free idea kit. Endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed or ability. Perfect for year-round health, fitness, and relaxation. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for your free Endless Pools idea kit.
At Salt Lake City Med Spa, beauty goes way beyond skin deep. While Dr. Brent Larson is nationally sought after for his unique ability to combine precision and skill with artistry and the latest technology, including Ultherapy, the amazing non-surgical facelift with no downtime, and Cool Sculpting, the safe, easy, non-surgical way to eliminate those stubborn fat areas. He also specializes in diet, exercise, and hormone therapy. So if you're feeling tired, anxious, have weight problems, or you're on depression medication that just isn't working anymore, call for a free consultation with Dr. Larson and discover how fast bioidentical hormone therapy can re-energize your life, making depression and anxiety disappear in as quickly as a few days. Plus, mention this ad and receive 30% off any procedure. Salt Lake City Med Spa, where beauty goes beyond skin deep.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, we have got some news you can use. Say it 5 times fast.
I couldn't even get out of the last segment properly saying news you could use, so I'm one and I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah,
you
I'm
did
done.
it right that time, though. So did I. We did good. We can say it.
Well,
News you can use. News
typically
you can use. News you can use.
prefer to say it properly every time. You get points for that.
It is nice. Okay, well, so today we are going to be talking a little bit about some real estate to start out.
Not in Utah.
Oh, yes, not in Utah real estate. New York. In New York City right now, there is a condo complex. Is that right? It's like a brand new build.
It's a building, and the top 2 floors are going for the
$150 million.
This is, for want of a better term, this is an apartment you're buying. Okay. Apartment.
Because there really isn't anything.
$150 million.
Did you? Because I looked in the article. Was there square? I couldn't see square.
Couple
feet
thousand
anywhere.
square feet. All the amenities in the world, but here
and
is
it's in Manhattan, of course.
Yeah, and obviously the most
Top of the
expensive
line,
real estate in America. I think maybe Hong Kong has got more expensive real estate. But that being said, what I have a problem with is, how do you rationalize spending $150 million on you and your wife and your kids?
I don't know.
Couldn't that money be spent better elsewhere? Could you give it to research? Could you give it, not all of it. If you're successful enough to spend
disgusting, like, how do you even justify that is how much it's worth?
Well, what they're doing is these developers are trying to get, so this story is written up all over the place.
Yeah.
I've read it, sent it to you, we're talking about it now. So these developers want to have the highest priced units. Mm-hmm. It's an ego thing on their part, but it has to be justified by other units of the same square footage and $1,000 a square foot, whatever
But
it
you know,
is.
they can't just like have the nails be made out of gold. It is not worth $150 million no matter how hard you try. At the end of the day, I mean,
But
what?
I guess the problem I have is that people would spend that on themselves.
Yeah,
And that to me is the height of narcissism. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I can see having a beautiful home. You've worked hard. You've taken chances. You deserve the money you
deserve
get.
a lovely home.
A nice lifestyle, maybe
A nice car.
And I've worked for companies that have had jets, and to fly in a corporate jet is pretty cool.
awesome.
But you can rationalize it that you don't even think about anything except for work. You do, but that's how you rationalize it to the board of directors. But you know, you're flying on a jet, and you can rationalize maybe you're going from a small city, you're getting work done, that sort of thing. But to live in a $150 million condo.
And the interesting thing is one sold in December for $100 million. So it's not just like, hey, we're putting it out there and we're going to see. One actually sold for $100 million.
Just because you price something out there, unless it
Doesn't
sells,
mean it's going to go, but it sold. So I mean, my knee-jerk reaction was just like, no matter what you do, you can't make it worth that. Like even if you made the whole place out of gold, I mean, it's like seriously, it's
there's
not
a
worth
smart expression that someone said: if you should rent all the luck, you know, you don't buy a vacation home, you rent. You don't buy a plane, you rent. You rent everything except for your main home, which gives you a tremendous tax advantage. So, $150 million. I don't think that'll be coming to Salt Lake anytime soon. But we do have $1 million homes here that are gorgeous.
But they're beautiful. It seems like they're worth it. I don't know. I guess that's my thing.
And the neat thing about Salt Lake, as I've moved back after living here in the 80s, is there's now so many luxury neighborhoods. You know, you go down to South Jordan. Oh my gosh.
New development communities, like
our friend Danny
planned
Kramer
communities.
sold a home right near my home in Sugar House, and the money he got from a Sugar House home down in South Jordan, he was able to get a huge home. So just depends on where you want to live.
Yeah. Okay. So next, Comcast. You've got some issues with your Comcast box. Is that what I'm hearing?
I upgraded to X1, which is the top Comcast box.
Okay.
This was 2 weeks ago Tuesday. My life has been horrible ever since. I have so many. It used to be I watch MSNBC, ESPN, DVR, couple shows on each, and I'm happy.
Because at 5 o'clock, 4:30, you're heading home, getting
4 o'clock
the early bird special at the Sizzler. And then you get into your jammies, and we're rolling right up on probably the 6 o'clock news hour. And your
Speaking
choices.
of Sizzler, the other day I went there just for the salad bar, $10, great salad bar, by the way. And the guy goes, "By the way, steak is free with it." I'm coming back here every day. It's right by my house. But anyway, so Comcast has ruined my life.
You had very limited options. I mean, your window of time to where you're going to watch TV was maybe a couple hours between 6 and 8 before you're fast asleep.
Exactly.
So now the real trouble here is you just have too much to watch in those 2 hours now. This is what you're complaining about.
I have so many channels. It is ridiculous. I can tape DVR 4 shows at a time and watch another. I have too many options. Take them away. Please, Comcast, take these away from me.
No,
I'm going to
don't.
call them this
We
afternoon.
love
I want to go back
Comcast.
to just my 2 little channels, ESPN.
We could just get you one of those old school TVs that you just
I watched the Super Bowl 4 times. You know why?
No.
Because now I've got NFL Network. And NFL Network mic'd all the players, so I watch the game in real time. Then I'm glued. The next week, all I'm doing is watching the Super Bowl and from different camera angles and stuff. And then I'm behind on my ESPN shows and my MSNBC. So I'm struggling.
This sounds like a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Well, I was going to say some positive things because Comcast is doing some great things technologically for people who are hearing impaired or who are blind to
I've got to
reach out
watch
to them,
TV
to have
all
them.
weekend because I can't have this information out there without being.
Well, and then this is where we go. So Comcast is amazing. They're doing amazing things. Technology is amazing. Trip, this is the silliest complaint I've ever heard. But you have more news. We're not even done. So just fasten your seatbelts.
Go ahead.
We're almost there.
What's my next story?
You said it was controversial, so I'm
so
really
basically,
excited.
what we're having, we've got some science standard issues here in the state of Utah and around the country. And one of the issues that I find a real challenge with is that certain parents, you've got a situation where parents want their kids taught science that they like.
Okay.
As opposed to an absolute science.
Okay.
So the non-controversial one that's very controversial now is evolution.
Okay.
And certain parents want it flexible. So creationism is that God created the world in 7 days. Evolution is obviously more science-based, and probably 99.9% of people believe it. But certain parents don't want it. And, you know, we saw political candidates over in Europe, you know, some Republicans, Scott Walker in particular, saying that they don't want to even deal with evolution. Well, Scott Walker knows that evolution is science. So the challenge that I have on this is that we have to weigh parents' rights between, you know...
Between information. Why can't you just put them both out there and let, like, the child learn for themselves? Like, why can't you teach both?
Because one is right and one is not. And in science, you have right and wrong. We're not talking literature.
But science things have changed.
History. This is not up to debate. But right now, we know that evolution is a fact.
Well,
everyone here does.
Yes, but like,
then why should you?
There's different ways of like saying fact. Like, it doesn't mean the entire theory that they've got of evolution is like 100%. They can prove it any more than the other side. You know me. I'm always just a middle of the road girl. I'm always like, there's always the pendulum on the right and the pendulum on the left, and I think those people are crazy. And I think the truth always lies somewhere right here in the middle.
What? God created the world in 8 days?
No.
Holly, if we are going to become the greatest country in the world that many people feel we are, and I wish and I hope we are, then we've got to get our people going. And in other words, we are a wonderful country, but you know, we're 43rd in medical care. There are a lot of areas that the United States needs to be better, and one of those areas is education. And if you teach educational theory in science classes, how do you get our kids up to the point where, once again, we are the greatest educational system in the world?
How come if you tell them that this is exactly how it is and that's as finite and blah, blah, blah? I think what makes this awesome is the freedom to choose and the freedom to figure it out for ourselves. And to...
You're talking about the freedom to be wrong.
No, because you... Trip Mitchell.
Yes, Holly, I am. So, you know, again, this is fact. This is the way the world... I'm not talking global warming, which is enough. I'm not even going to get into that because we'd have certain members of our production team's heads exploding.
Whose?
The big boss. So
don't make Mr. Bill's head explode. That would be bad.
We do not want that to happen. But that being said, you know, evolution is one of those where if you talk...
You know, evolution exists. Again, it's like, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's like, my goodness, there are signs of it that it happened, but of course trying to like prove that you can prove there isn't a God with science, you can't do that any more than I can prove that there is. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's
okay,
all.
The World According to Holly Love. I'm Trip Mitchell. We'll be back after this short break.
World.
You're watching Talk Utah. We'll be right back.
She had a lot of trouble in school.
He had some impulsivity issues.
He was having a lot of meltdowns, a lot of tantrums.
I feel like all I did was yell at my kid all day.
Brain Balance is the answer for your kid because it didn't just mask the problems, it actually addressed the issue.
We started seeing huge differences in her behavior.
It's a totally different life.
If you've been looking for alternative healthcare, imagine coming into a facility where you can meet with someone who specializes in your condition and then takes your exam findings and meets with a team of specialists to come up with a combined approach that will put you back on the path to health. At Integrated Wellness, they have everything from a medical doctor to an allergy specialist on staff. All combined, they can treat conditions ranging from rheumatoid arthritis to allergies, even chronic fatigue. Call Integrated Wellness for your consultation so you can be on the path to wellness today.
And welcome back to Talk Utah. Today we're focusing on education right here in the state of Utah. And Holly has an interesting feature that she's been working on now for a couple months with a company called Brain Balance, which is really helping youngsters.
Well, you know, kids who are dealing with learning disabilities, social disorders, behavioral issues, I mean, this is on the rise. We know this. We've talked about it a lot. And you, our viewers, our families, our friends have just wanted to know more. And so we've decided we're just going to go straight to the source. And last month we talked to a lovely family, the Uboldis, adorable children, got to see their experience. They're about halfway through the program, see what they're learning, because Brain Balance has this really unique approach as far as how they are able to successfully help kids that are suffering with all kinds of these problems. Help them recover, help them, and they're seeing results within, 2 weeks, within the first month. So this month we are talking to the Christensen family. Now I have to tell you, I absolutely love this family. They are incredible. Will Jr. Is the one who, he's got some behavioral, some social stuff. Take a look. These guys are great.
Okay, I am here at the Brain Balance Center in South Jordan, and I am joined by Stacy and Will Christensen. You guys, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Sure.
Now, Will, I am excited to talk to you because I know that you were not exactly thrilled with the whole Brain Balance program, and that has changed. So before we get to that, Stacy, tell me a little bit about what life was like with Will Jr. at home, the kind of struggles and challenges that he was having both socially and behaviorally with school and with his sisters.
So the hardest was definitely homework and reading. It was just pure battle, World War III every night. And he just hated reading, hated doing homework. It took so long. And I would write notes to the teacher on the homework and say, this is all we got done in, 60 minutes. And it was torture. And his sisters would always say that he was like bouncing off of them. He just had no concept of like where he was in relevance to other things. And it was just always a battle. And, and meals. Meals were awful. He would just complain about eating. The smells would bother him, the food would bother him. He would either lay down and cry or be sent to his room.
What did you think this was stemming from? Did you think this was a serious problem, Will, or did you think he'd just grow out of it?
No, I just thought he would grow out of it and it was just like me.
Yeah.
And I still haven't grown out of it, but yeah.
We always just thought it was behavioral. We're like, oh, he's just defiant, and he's just naughty, and
It's just boy.
Yeah, he's a boy.
At what point did you realize, like, okay, this is more than we can handle?
His teacher last year actually came up to me outside of the school and said something's going on with him.
She was the one that kind of steered us in the direction of what we needed, how to teach him, because
she could see so much potential in him too, because he's just a do-good kid. I mean, he doesn't want to be bad, and he had a great attitude, he just couldn't do it.
And then you started seeing doctors, because before Brain Balance, you did a lot of work to figure out what was going to, like diagnosis and that sort of thing. What was that experience?
So probably for 14 months. We started at an eye doctor, because I thought, oh, if it's a tracking issue, that explains reading and his slowness of reading, his slowness. And the eye doctor was like, oh, maybe he's got a slight, he gave him like a real minimal prescription for glasses, which I think helped. And then we had his ears checked and went to the pediatrician and kind of, hoped they would say, oh, it's ADD or it's this and take this, do this, and she just kept saying, I don't think it's this, I don't think it's that. And then finally I had just picked up a pamphlet about auditory processing deficit, and I actually started crying when I was reading it because it was him to a T. I was just like, oh, no wonder it's so hard for him, And so I searched all over Utah. There's only one audiologist that tests for it that I could find. And so we finally got a referral to her. And she was able to diagnose that. And she's like, he's a classic textbook, case. She kind of gave us that diagnosis. And I was like, okay, thanks. And then I just happened to talk to a gal that's like an expert in vitamins. And she said something that triggered a thought. And I Googled it. And that Brain Balance for some reason popped up just in the Google search, of that, and so.
And that's all it took. That's what
and that was like probably 14 months between teachers suggesting something was wrong and sort of getting here.
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was a lot of testing. We probably spent thousands of dollars because through all that we had no insurance.
Oh gosh.
And so I was just paying cash. Like the auditory processing deficit test was $450 just for that. And then she gives us the diagnosis, and it's like,
and then
what?
Solution. It was just a diagnosis, and then it was like, and there you go.
Yeah. And we tried to get him in resource in school, and they're like, he's too smart for that.
Yeah, he's always too smart for that.
Oh, wow.
He didn't have any learning disabilities.
So you really had
nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, so it was.
So then you find Brain Balance, but then you were not really down with the Brain Balance. What was that about?
Well, because he has all the same symptoms I have, because when we sat down and talked with the counselor, he pointed everything out that I still deal with today. I'm like, he'll be fine.
So how did you get him on board with this whole thing? What went down? Give me the story.
Fun. Actually, I had to call him. I think our appointment was like around noon. I knew I could still on the way from work at lunchtime, so I called him at like 11:15, and I'm like, you need to meet me in South Jordan at noon. And he's like, I think I hung up on him because he was, And then we literally had a fight in the reception area. Like, he was like, this is so ridiculous. How much money do you want now? What are you going to do now? What diagnosis do you? And I'm just like, oh, I'm so embarrassed.
But it's frustrating. I mean,
Oh,
my
it
gosh,
is.
this is
It
so
is.
hard
I mean,
on
yeah.
families and marriages
It is.
and life.
Yeah.
And it was that mentality of go figure out what's wrong with him and then let me know, because he's not going to go to every doctor's appointment and every allergy testing and you know, it's like
It's emotionally
yeah.
hard and draining.
Yeah, so I was just kind of the one taking him, and then when it came time where we need to make a decision together, like, yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. So how did you finally, what turned the tide for you?
Just the testing they did for him here opened my eyes to there's a solution, because now that we had all the diagnosis done, there was no means to an end or no solution.
Yeah.
And they clearly had a game plan in front of us to say that we can help you with these issues that you're having with your son, and so it was a no-brainer.
So you finally like heard that,
Yeah.
and it was over.
It was done, yeah.
It was a done deal.
And seeing the eye test, we'd struggled so hard with him reading. Him especially, I'd just be like, you need to go read with him because I'm going to kill him if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'd struggled for years reading with him, and then to see his eyes and why it was so hard for him, just it brought tears to your eyes. Remember, you're like, oh, that explains everything.
So having a solution and an opportunity to
Yeah.
have a plan in place, I mean, that's
the whole thing right there.
yeah.
Knowing that there's something out there that people understand what's going on with him, because they know what's going on, but there's no solution.
And interesting with Brain Balance, it's like we were talking, you said the food thing. You had a problem with the food thing, the spatial awareness thing, bumping into people, and you told me earlier you couldn't take him out to restaurants. He would always spill something,
Yeah.
so there's the spatial awareness.
Yeah.
The social problems with school and getting along with your family and the behavioral, and then you got the learning side of things, and it's like all of the doctors and everyone, it seems like they try to put them into categories
Oh, yes.
and say these are all different things, and then you come here and all of a sudden all of those things come together and they're like, no, it's just one thing.
Yeah.
It's one thing that we can handle and we can deal with here, and it's developmental, it's not brain damage, it's just brain delays, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about it, is
It's
it's
true.
just amazing.
No.
So when did you start to notice a change? Like, when did things get better with Will?
It was sooner than later, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was probably 2 months into it. That was the time that I was just like, oh, I mean, he was just getting up for school, getting ready, he could go take a shower all by himself, like, he would eat dinner, and I just remember thinking, oh, you can become the kid we know you can, you know?
So, Will, from your perspective, has this been worth it? I mean, you're halfway through the program,
Yeah, it has.
and with the diet and all of the things you have to do, because this isn't an easy thing.
No, the diet's a huge thing too. It's not like, I mean, they want to medicate kids, and it's like, change the diet. That was huge.
And it was
it's
really
funny
hard
to
at
see.
first.
It is hard at first, but I mean, to see him, and she's amazing at creating family-friendly food.
It's really united us too, like, it's almost like, okay, now we have something to sort of work together for, work for together.
And
I
what's
think it's
home life like now with Will
so
and
much
the
easier.
sisters and you guys?
Yeah, it's not as stressful.
It's a little
like
better.
there's the tension, isn't so high. And
Yeah. And what would you say to parents that were in your, or dads in your situation, Will, that are
That
just,
it's worth the try. It's worth it's worth the battle.
yeah.
Because I mean, if you don't do something now, I'm glad we're doing something now instead of later. You
And
know?
it was always just a money thing. It's like, oh, can we afford it? Oh, money this, money that. But I look at all the money we spent on tutoring and all the money we
Yeah.
spent on testing, and I just think, oh, this is something he can do, and we invest in it, and it will just help for so long. You
Yeah.
know, it'll help him as a teenager. And that audiologist that tested him, that gave us the diagnosis, she said her main client or patient is a 17-year-old high schooler that still can't read, still can't listen, and it's so sad to see them at 17 dropping out and struggling, and I just think there's how do you put a dollar on that, We spend so much money every month on such stupid things. And so this investment for us was just like a lifetime investment,
So I would love to follow up again with you guys down the road in a few months and see how Will's doing. And then also I'd like to meet the girls. So let's bring them on in. But before we go, Will, I think the biggest thing we've learned from all of this is that mom's always right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's System Networks has been helping companies nationwide for a surprisingly low price. With a wide range of 24/7 technical support services and a staff of high-level network engineers, System Networks can eliminate all your company's time-wasting technical problems, allowing your team to be more efficient and able to focus on the work they do. System Networks has the most sophisticated and secure cloud services in the country and programs like Office 365. Plus, System Networks can customize data plans to meet the budgetary needs of any sized company.
My name's Jeff Laramie. I'm the CEO of Beans and Brews Coffee House. I originally called System Networks because we wanted to try outsourcing our IT. I would highly recommend System Networks because they've been a fantastic IT partner for us. They're super reliable, very knowledgeable, and they've just been a great overall consultant for us.
Mention this ad and they'll put $1,500 toward a new server, cloud licensing, or firewalls. Let System Networks handle your technical needs so you can focus on what you do best. Got the whole family here. You got a beautiful family. My goodness, we have Shaylin and we have Ashley Christine and then of course Will Jr. Will Jr., I'm going to start with you. Will you tell me a little bit about what life was like before you came to Brain Balance? How was school? What was it like with friends and your family?
Well, school was hard because I don't really get how to read and stuff, and it was hard to make friends because everybody thought I was so rude.
And has that changed since you've come to Brain Balance?
It's changed a lot.
What do you, with school, what's like changed with school?
I'm better at reading and I've made more friends.
Do you have like a favorite subject that you didn't like before that you like now?
Math.
Do you like math now? That's awesome. And how about homework? Is it easier to do homework?
Yeah.
Yeah? And Miss Ashley Christine, I want to know what you've noticed about Will.
Well, I just know that we wouldn't always get along, and he was just so difficult to be around. Why can't you just act more mature? And honestly, I'm pretty mature, even for my age and stuff. And it was just grow up. And now I know that he kind of respects me more maybe, and just knows how to act a little bit better, and just knows what's right against wrong.
And what about as friends? Have you noticed him at school? Do you guys go to the same school?
No, we do go to different schools, but I'll ask him, before I'd ask him, so how are your friends? Do you have anybody to hang out with on Friday or whatever? And he could never find anybody to hang out with, only had 1 or 2 friends. But now he has all these friends coming over on Friday and, going home with kids, and it just, he seems more happier, more social and stuff, so.
That's awesome. So, Will, when you come to Brain Balance, what's it like here? What happens?
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah? What do you do?
Well, first I go and exercise and other stuff. Then I go read and do math.
So now tell me about the diet, because diet is a big part of this whole thing. How's that been going?
I think I've liked the gluten-free snacks and stuff more than I like the gluten stuff.
Really?
I've noticed that too, with our bread. I didn't really like the whole wheat bread, and the white bread was good, but it wasn't the best thing for you. But the gluten-free bread, I've been enjoying it more, and you feel so much better too. Your brain, you can focus better, and your body just feels healthier.
Can I move in with you guys?
Yes, I cleaned out our whole pantry and all of our cupboards. I took boxes and boxes of stuff to
give it away.
Yeah,
just gave it away.
No, I was like, Mom,
and
can
then
I
I
keep
just
those
started
cookies?
restocking with clean food, and we just followed the paleo recipes and stuff. And we bought little lunch boxes and thermoses from Amazon, and they pick theirs out, and they just take lunch to school, and they always take the breakfast leftovers or dinner leftovers, and.
So, it's a whole life family change thing,
we
and this is
everything when we did it. Yeah, we didn't.
We're if we're gonna invest this much
put
money,
that time and money into it. That's one of the things. It was I listened to a lady out there in the waiting room say that she's I'm not gonna change the diet, and I'm I wouldn't spend the money if I wasn't gonna just do it all.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh.
Why would you go and spend that kind of money to help your kid, and then not do the whole program?
Yeah.
And you can't just do it for one when you're a family.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for like 2 weeks. Like I remember just standing in the kitchen crying. I'm like, there's nothing I can make. There's nothing to buy. And then all of a sudden it just clicked.
So what about the exercises? How is that working?
He'll kind of just go do it himself, and he does really good.
And he asked for it too. He asked for it now. He's like, I want to do my brain balance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Remember the day we were gardening and he just had a complete meltdown. We were tearing out, we have a big, huge garden, we were tearing it out. And he was just crying and crying. I said, go in and do your brain balance workout and don't come out until you're done. And he did, and he came out a totally different kid. It was the weirdest thing.
Oh, true.
He goes, okay, I think it works.
Will said that.
Yeah, I
Will,
swear
you
it
noticed
just
the difference?
triggered
You felt
his brain.
different after you did this stuff?
Yeah.
Will you teach me how to do that later? Because I think I need some help. And I want to be adopted in and eat with you guys and just in general hang out. Because you guys are awesome.
Dinner's in our house.
Yeah, right? I need some help on all of this. So really the dynamic in your family has changed, and you're only like partway through the program, right? We still have a
little
ways
more
to
than
go.
half, yeah, a couple months still.
So we are thinking we're going to check back in a few months and see how things are going. So this is going to be a 2-part series with this awesome family.
Oh, fun, okay.
And get to see how things are going down the road a little bit, because obviously some awesome results right out of the gate. So impressive, so amazing what they're accomplishing there. I mean, and that's just like with Will being in there like a couple months, really, at the end of the day.
I can't imagine how difficult it would be to be a parent and having a child having these struggles and not knowing what to do, not knowing where to turn.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many examples of you know, they have counselors in schools, but this program is so much further along.
Well, and you heard that she spent all of this money and all of this time looking, and they figured out he had this auditory problem, which was like explained all of their problems. They think they found the answer, spent a ton of money in order to get there, and then at the end of the day it was just this diagnosis, and it was like, all right, well, thanks, there you go, that was that. And so I think this is where Brain Balance kind of has a piece of my heart. Not only do I have a little niece in there who's in the program and it's changing her life, but it's like they're actually offering some hope and some real solutions. I mean, how cool was it when Will himself was like having a breakdown? They're like talking about working in the yard, and he's having a breakdown, and his mom's like, get in there and do the brain balance exercises. And even he's like, it works, Mom. He came out and he felt completely different. So it's amazing stuff, especially when kids are suffering with things that are slowing them down, and it seems to be an epidemic.
Well, and the other thing now is that our capabilities in terms of understanding the brain are moving forward at a quantum level. I mean, this type of program wasn't around years ago, and, you know, I feel for people who don't have the resources, don't have the ability to reach out and do the best things for their kids. And the numbers are staggering. It's just shocking how many people are suffering from these.
A 15 to 20% rise on all learning social behavioral issues each year, and that's just like within the last like 20 years, it's just jumped in leaps and bounds as far as kids that are suffering with things like Asperger's and autism and all of these different things.
Does it scare you? You're going to have kids here, and does it scare the heck out of you?
Well, it does, but then when you know about Brain Balance and you know about these other things coming up, it kind of doesn't, because it's like they're treating everything from diet, and you start to think about the diet. This whole family, I mean, they just jumped in and encompassed the diet. They do like a paleo kind of based diet to get the gluten out and a bunch of things which just slow down their ability for brain development with children. And you think, you know, the hormones in the food. I feel like they really have a great understanding about how to treat this. So I'm more hopeful at this point, knowing that they exist in the world. I'm less scared than I used to be.
The interesting part when you talk about diet is how bad our diet is in American.
Yeah.
And, you know, I look back and you just junk.
I know, and hormones in the food and everything like that. So, I mean, really, so, you know, honestly, if you have a child that is suffering with any kind of learning disability, social problems, even if you just think it's behavioral, get into a Brain Balance Center, give them a call them right now, tell them you saw them on the show, and you saw the Christiansons, you saw their experience, you want to bring in your child. They will meet with you for free. There will be a free consultation. They will talk with you about your options, what they think is going on. You don't need a diagnosis. You don't have to have a diagnosis to go there. They don't diagnose kids. They don't need one. They just work with kids who are struggling with behavioral and learning disabilities, and they get results, and it's pretty amazing. And so I'm looking forward to following up with both of these families in the next couple months to see what happens after this is just a couple months in. I can't wait to see what happens, you know, give them a couple more months from here.
Process and seeing a result at the end of the finish line, always good. For Holly Love, I'm Trip Mitchell. We'll be back after this short break.
System Networks has been helping companies nationwide for a surprisingly low price. With a wide range of 24/7 technical support services and a staff of high-level network engineers, System Networks can eliminate all your company's time-wasting technical problems, allowing your team to be more efficient and able to focus on the work they do. System Networks has the most sophisticated and secure cloud services in the country and programs like Office 365. Plus, System Networks can customize data plans to meet the budgetary needs of any sized company.
My name's Jeff Laramie. I'm the CEO of Beans and Brews Coffee House. I originally called System Networks because we wanted to try outsourcing our IT. I would highly recommend System Networks because they've been a fantastic IT partner for us. They're super reliable, very knowledgeable, and they've just been a great overall consultant for us.
Mention this ad and they'll put $1,500 toward a new server, cloud licensing, or firewalls. Let System Networks handle your technical needs so you can focus on what you do best.
Welcome back, everybody. We are joined with our favorite movie guy, Rich Bonaducci. Rich, thanks for coming to talk to us again.
Anytime.
So, okay, before we jump into movies, because we've got some fun movies coming up here.
Some interesting things to talk about.
I think we need to discuss Mr. Trip Mitchell's last few minutes while we were on the break. What was happening?
This is your chair, isn't it?
This is your chair.
And you can reserve this before you go to the movie.
No, wait. So this is going to sound really very stupid, but I have admitted throughout this show that I don't go to movies, which makes it interesting when we do interviews.
Right.
But my brother went to a theater downtown with my nephew to watch American Sniper last night.
Okay.
And he is he's an engineer from New York, and he didn't know, as didn't I, that you could reserve seats. So I'm talking about this.
This was a whole new concept to Mr. Mitchell.
This, to me, is like voter registration problems.
There is
a solution in search of a problem that doesn't exist.
It does
what
exist.
you do at a theater is you go and you get there a little early and you walk in and get a good seat. Now, too many I hate when I have a ticket and someone's sitting in my seat. I hate to kick them out.
But see, this has been happening across the board for long enough now that you just, when you have a ticket, you reserve your seat. You don't sit somewhere where you don't belong.
It's
But
like a concert.
People are not that bright. I have noticed, and people want to sit in the better seat. This is a solution without a problem, in my opinion. But then again, since I don't go to movies,
you had the problem?
I've never had that problem.
Last time we went to the movies.
And
No,
you
no,
had
no.
someone
Which
in
was
your
like
seat.
when you go to a
People were
game,
frustrated.
when I go to games, everyone's always in my seats, always.
Maybe at the games they're just punking you.
No, I'm serious. I go down to row. I'm going to see Bob Seger next month, and I know that someone's going to be sitting in my seats. I know it always
Whoever
happens.
you are, please call me and video record it. That just
Apparently,
sounds so awesome.
You always buy the good seats, is what it is.
Well, I do, but I hate having some schmuck in the seats. Then you got to stay. Okay.
Because then you have to
Except-
actually talk to a human and talk to him.
No.
about
But
fixing it.
here's the thing. Here's what happens. Okay, you're standing there. Maybe I'm a little late for the game. Okay. Or the movie. No, we're getting going here. But so you stand there, and then you got to go, these are my seats, and the person goes, no, and then you got to get an usher. Then you stand in front of the people sitting behind you,
You know what, though?
and it's a whole thing.
I guess it happens to you a lot, but that doesn't really happen that much in the
Movie
theater.
people are more
because everyone
educated.
knows
We're a
they're
little more
assigned. I
highbrow.
bought this thing 3 hours ago. It's my
And you're
seat. Get out of
sports
it.
people. We don't do that.
You know what I used to hate in Vegas? We're going off on a tangent.
heat.
But no. When you go to a show, you'd have to tip, like the old Vegas shows, Frank Sinatra, I didn't go there, but you'd go there and you have a ticket, and then you'd have to tip the maitre d' to get the best seat, but then you don't want to tip too much so that you're a schmuck. So you gotta find that perfect, so you give him $20 to get a better seat, he goes down.
This is the problem that this solution is for.
There
You
you
don't
go.
have to tip anybody
You don't
now.
Well, you
tip
didn't have to
people.
go tip at a
pay
movie.
me
You
know
could
where
have,
you're
you get your
going.
you could walk in.
Pick your seat.
So here's what happened. You're with a date, you're trying to impress her. Okay, you're going to see a comedian. I was going to see Sam Kinison. Okay, go in the theater. I give
Not
the guy
the
20.
way to impress someone.
No, $20, and he takes me down to a seat facing the bathroom, and I go, okay. So I whip out another 20. And slowly, it's like a zigzag pattern down to the front. Finally got to the front row.
$100?
Yeah, it was $100.
Wow.
But I didn't want to give him the 100 right off the bat. And then you sit down in the front row, and Sam Kinison insults your girlfriend the whole
Right,
show.
and then, yeah.
But I'm smart enough to know that you never trade insults with a comedian.
Not with Sam Kinison either.
No.
I don't even know who that
So Sam Kinison was one of the great comics of all time. He died.
Wow, how did I miss that?
He had a
Because he's dead.
drug and alcohol problem. Finally got sober and got killed by a drunk driver coming up from L.A. But
So the message: don't get sober.
well, no. But that being said, never ever, if you're getting insulted by a comic, just keep your mouth shut.
Okay.
They can. You're a stand-up comic. You've got.
I am not. I have never done stand-up comedy ever in my life.
Yes,
have
you
you ever
have.
been to a
I have
theater
not.
and sat in the right seat before?
Never. I always make him kick me out.
Okay, let's get to movies here.
No, let's
because
not.
we
We're
are
done.
running
Thank you
out
very
of
much.
time.
That was great.
Okay,
Great to talk.
it's spring.
I love Trip Mitchell. Thank you very much for coming on the set. It's been really great, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Stop it. It's spring. We have some fun movies, and you have an interesting little twist on this because independent film, big blockbusters. Take it away.
Okay, really quick. There are 2 movies out right now.
Yes.
And they stink.
Okay.
And there are 2 indies out right now, and they're really good. They're probably not getting enough love, highly love. So, okay.
Are they getting enough Holman?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Holman,
get it together.
do not bother to go see Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
Wait. How did that get made? Hot Tub Time Machine 1 was one of the worst movies.
No, did you see
And it was
Because I lived here with a hot
ago.
tub in the 80s.
Well, and it was 5 years ago. And it didn't do that well. It had a budget about 36, and it made about 60 total.
So that means it lost money because you only get half the money.
Well, it...
So
Anyway,
distribution and advertising, as everyone
worldwide,
knows.
it made about 63. So yeah, it didn't do very well. But for some reason in Hollywood, that means let's make a sequel.
What was the name? The name's fun.
Hot Tub Time Machine 2?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Well, it isn't.
Okay.
Was it spelled TWO or TOO?
No, it should have been 2, but no, it wasn't. But it's not worth it. Don't go to see it. It's one of the worst movies that I've seen.
Okay.
And The Duff is a
Ooh.
high school teen angst flick, which really just rips off from a lot of other movies, other better movies like Easy A and even Can't Buy Me Love and
Why
Mean
is it
Girls.
that every single time they have a hot girl who's trying to be like the sad girl? Because she's gorgeous. She's from Parenthood. She's like
she's from Arrested Development. It's Anne.
Yeah, it's Anne.
Her?
Remember Anne? Oh my gosh, yeah, her.
It's her.
What
But
did he call her?
It's not
sometimes?
that awesome. Aunt Egg.
Egg.
Man Egg. She calls her the Man Egg. Anyway, but
I
let's
love
get to
that
the
show.
2 movies
Okay,
that you
okay.
should see
Yes.
instead.
Okay.
One is called Match. It stars Patrick Stewart, and
Okay.
he's awesome in it.
Wait,
I think
from
that
Star Wars?
from Star Trek.
Star Trek. Aren't you?
2 completely different universes. Star Trek.
Star Trek.
And no, he no longer has to play button-down Jean-Luc Picard, and he no longer has to play wheelchair-bound Professor Xavier.
Oh, yeah.
And he chews scenery like you wouldn't believe, and he's so much fun to watch.
Really?
So he
It's
beavered
great.
it up.
He beavered it up. No, but he's really good.
Can we say that? Keep going.
It's a different, totally different kind of
chewed
beaver.
through scenery.
Got it. I got
Anyway,
it. Okay.
the other movie is called Still Life,
Okay.
and it's quieter. Obviously, it's Still Life,
Mhm.
and it's a slower pace.
Okay.
It's British,
Uh-huh.
which should say it all right there, I guess. But it has Eddie Marsan in it, and I don't know if you would know him
do
from
know
his
him.
name, but if
Yes.
you see him, you'll go,
I
oh,
love that guy.
he's really good.
Wait, Holly, what have you seen him in?
I don't know, but I totally know the guy. He's really eccentric. He's like a crazy actor. He's awesome.
He's not, but
Really-
but he's really good.
Am I
in this.
thinking the wrong guy?
You were thinking of the wrong guy.
There are two.
I don't even know who it was, but I knew you took a chance on that.
We
and
knew you
I was
didn't know.
betting
I can't
against
wait
you.
until I can Google who this guy is and then show you who I think he is.
Anyway, they are playing at Art House Cinema 502 in Ogden, as well as Broadway on 300. And
Which you can
hopefully,
reserve your
at
tickets
my
for, by
parents-
the way.
That's another one of the many theaters I don't go to
Yeah.
movies on.
And hopefully at independent cinema, around the country, because they're kind of slow release. They come out, and then
You have to
as
you
they
have to
get them,
Google and find
you
out
really
where they
gotta
are.
check it out. But they are so
So the first
worth
one was
seeing.
which one?
Match with Patrick Stewart and
Match
Still Life.
and Still Life. Those are the ones
your
we
buddy,
should see.
Eddie Marsan.
Not my cool friend that I totally know who he is. And we shouldn't see Hot Tub Time Machine 2 Trip. We're going to show you online the really wonderful new technology of
And-
being able to pick your own seats.
And the Duff.
I couldn't even pick my own seat here. You guys came in and
Yeah,
I
we
switched
said,
seats
"This is your
twice.
chair."
I got the wrong chair and,
And
Rich
again,
was sitting in it.
yeah.
Boy, this is really tough. Hey, is there anything you want to say to our viewers, Holly?
Not a thing. Rich, will you come back if I promise to get him under control?
No, I'm never coming.
Quick question, real quick. Aerosmith is doing a concert movie in 300 theaters. Is that a problem that doesn't exist? Is anyone going to go see that?
Why would you want to see Aerosmith on the big screen in HD?
Good reason.
No.
We'll be back after this short break. And Rich, thank you so much. Holly, you're wonderful.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for a free idea kit. Endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed or ability. Perfect for year-round health, fitness, and relaxation. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for your free Endless Pools idea kit.
At Salt Lake City Med Spa, beauty goes way beyond skin deep. While Dr. Brent Larson is nationally sought after for his unique ability to combine precision and skill with artistry and the latest technology, including Ultherapy, the amazing non-surgical facelift with no downtime, and Cool Sculpting, the safe, easy, non-surgical way to eliminate those stubborn fat areas. He also specializes in diet, exercise, and hormone therapy. So if you're feeling tired, anxious, have weight problems, or you're on depression medication that just isn't working anymore, call for a free consultation with Dr. Larson and discover how fast bioidentical hormone therapy can re-energize your life, making depression and anxiety disappear in as quickly as a few days. Plus, mention this ad and receive 30% off any procedure. Salt Lake City Med Spa, where beauty goes beyond skin deep.
Holly was so excited that she got the name of a British, and not name as in first and last. She knew an Eddie in the UK.
Well, he was.
I wish we could run tape during the commercials.
He was saying that there was this interesting, like, British actor, and he said Eddie, and then he said the name, and I thought I so knew who it was, I had it on lock. Totally failed.
You pulled a man. That's what a man does.
Just you think you know way too strongly, like too much confidence behind your knowing.
I'll talk to someone and they'll say, and you know, maybe I'm not the greatest at long distance thinking or long range. You know, I should
get out of it. You don't even know how to describe it. Keep going.
Okay, so someone will tell me where something is, and I'll know where it is, so I don't have to listen.
I know where it is.
Because I'm a man, and men know things.
Men know. You don't know.
Okay, we know a lot of things that are wrong. But because I'm a man, I know, and so I know where I'm going. And then I get there and I realize I have no clue.
And then you have to call, and then you have to say, where am I going? Help me. Actually give me the play-by-play.
No, I'm a man. I drive around fruitlessly, and then I call.
Thank goodness for Google Maps now. Don't you think Google Maps probably saves the day for more men than anything in the world?
Okay, this morning.
Because you don't ever have to be wrong. You don't have to, like, stop somewhere.
So my home in Sugar House has got some old piping and stuff, and so the washing machine now it's like another hot tub. It fills up with water and it doesn't drain. So I had to go find a laundromat this morning on the way in to actually, get ready for today's show. Mm-hmm. And you go on my Google, on my Android phone, and it keeps moving. I'm trying to find this place and it moves. It is so frustrating.
So you're complaining about Google Maps now? First Comcast, now Google Maps, like the two coolest things in the world?
I can find a way to complain. I mean, that's a man's right. But
okay, well, let's get back to who the guy was. It's
Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard.
So
he is awesome. You knew when I was thinking about it, you knew I was thinking of someone way too cool for who that guy actually was, or at least Rich did.
Yeah, well, you're an actress, and actors and actresses always claim to know everyone.
Well, I don't claim to, but if I think I know or I'm a fan of somebody, and I really do like Eddie Izzard. He's a comedian. He's awesome. He's British. He's just like super cool. Anyway, epic fail.
So, okay, but we enjoyed that. Today's show, Rich is so much fun when he comes on, and I got him a little sidetracked with the thing about the seats in movies, which literally, I had that conversation with my brother, and he had no idea that...
And he's from New York.
Yeah.
Now, is he like you and he just doesn't go to movies, or is he...
I don't know, we don't talk.
Because I have a hard time thinking New York doesn't...
Men from the East Coast don't talk about important stuff.
Okay.
Like, I have no idea.
Wait, what?
Guys don't.
Men from the East Coast?
We don't
Are you making a generality, or are we just, like, sticking to the whole Mitchell thing?
Okay,
like, let's keep it to, like, just...
I don't know whether he's happy or not. We've just spent a week together skiing, and you don't bring that stuff up.
You're not, like, are you happy in life? You don't have, like, the deep conversation in the middle of the night?
No,
where you cry a little?
No, of course not. Men don't ask each other questions.
So, okay, so what do you do?
we talk about the skiing and talk about Eli, my nephew. We talk about him, but men don't ask each other. Talk to any man in the studio and ask him if he has deep down conversations with his brother. Men don't do that. You guys do enough yakking, women that is, not you as in Holman's.
Well, you know, we do a lot of yakking, so that's fine. We do
There's
our
no
fair
question.
share.
But women do enough talking for the whole species.
You think that's what it is?
Oh yeah, you guys suck up all the words. Men, you guys.
Which was your theory at Sundance when I lost my voice? Was that I had just like maxed out on my amount of words.
Every
for
human
that
being gets 7.5 million words.
Oh,
that they
you
get
thought
to
I
say.
maxed out on my words for my lifetime.
Yes, I'm shocked that you're speaking now.
You're so full of it because you talk more than any other human I have ever known. Now, 90% of what you're saying doesn't mean anything. Most of it is like total crap, which I've learned when it becomes total crap because you get this little look on your face and it's like, oh yeah, I can't believe a word he's saying right now because he has no idea what he's talking about.
Do I have a tell, as it were?
You do. It's like a tally light comes up over your head like this
when I'm
BS
when I'm trying to lure you into
which
one.
is like 99.9% of the time.
So my theory that you have 7.5 million words into you and you've exceeded it, and now what you've done,
completely craziness.
You've taken words from another life. You are fast forwarding.
I've stolen. I'm on somebody else's borrowed words. No, that's crazy. Okay, no. So back to the point, which is your brother's in town, and we're going back to Google, and we're going back to the whole thing with the movie theater thing. New York, I have to think that New York, they've got the whole reserve seating thing.
They might. Maybe he doesn't go to movies, but I'm never going to ask him that question. He works very hard. But I don't know. I mean, that would require normalcy in a relationship. But I'll guarantee you, when we get off the air and we talk to Bill, he doesn't talk to his family about deep issues. It's just not the way guys are. We're not hot wired that way. You guys are wired differently. Women are.
It's true. I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, we're night and day. That is 100% true.
Dave Barry tells the old joke about the guy who's going through a divorce and he's just been working out with his best friend, and the guy comes home and the wife said, well, what's up with the divorce? What's up with this? And guys just don't ask those questions.
Dave Barry?
Dave Barry is the top humor writer in the country. He's actually a Pulitzer Prize-winning humor writer for the Miami Herald. He's written over 26 books. He is a genius.
Beep, beep, beep.
No,
beep, beep. I think we should fact check. Anyone?
This one is irrefutable.
Yeah, you're right on this?
Oh, I'm
just like I was right on the Eddie Izzard?
No, you got one name right. I know everything on Dave Barry.
You feel good about that?
I feel really good about that one.
All right, are we going to go to any movies? Like, should we actually just, I think that's what we should do.
Take me to a movie?
Take you to a movie.
And our show open is so cute because we pretend to go to the movies, and I pretend not to have money, which is accurate, and you pretend to pay for it, which is accurate.
Completely accurate.
Maybe we should have gone in and seen a movie. But Holly, this has been such a fun show. We learned a lot about brain balance. We had some fun. Yes. We found out that you and I are not going to be buying a $150 million co-op in New York.
Not anytime soon, no.
And we learned that maybe I'm the craziest Mitchell, but crazy is not necessarily the worst thing, is it?
No, not at all.
Well, on that subject, Holly has admitted that she's crazy. I'm not. She's Holly Love. I'm Trip Mitchell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.